Guys like Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino and Woody Allen, those are the in guys in the 70s, not a big body like that.
A cozy study lined with film posters. Arnold Schwarzenegger sits at a desk, a scrapbook open in front of him. Its pages filled with stills from his movies and faded clippings of the heroes he once idolized. He speaks with the relaxed candor of someone who has lived many lives, bodybuilder, action star, governor, but who still remembers being a young Austrian boy staring wide-eyed at the cinema screen.
$130 million domestically and worldwide, almost $300 million. So it was really very, very successful.
He admits that for him, actors weren't just entertainers. They were teachers, role models, proof that a dream could be more than fantasy. As a teenager, I grew up with these idols, he explains, running his hand over a photograph of a square-jawed hero. Their remarkable accomplishments allowed me a sense of what was possible. Tonight, he promises to share the 6 actors who shaped him most. They aren't chosen for box office numbers or critical acclaim alone, but for how they lit a path for him. Some through friendship, some through inspiration, others by showing what kind of man he wanted to be. With a smile, he leans back in his chair. The countdown begins at number 6, and with it, a story of idols who became part of Arnold's journey. Number 6, Danny DeVito. Arnold Schwarzenegger has worked alongside some of the biggest stars in the world, but when he talks about the actors who mean the most to him, Danny DeVito always makes the list. At first glance, the pairing seems like a Hollywood joke. The 6'2" Mr. Universe next to the 5' comic dynamo from New Jersey. Yet that contrast became their greatest strength, and over time, their unlikely bond grew into one of the most endearing friendships of Schwarzenegger's career. DeVito first proved his talent in the mid-1970s with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. As Martini, a fragile patient in the asylum, he radiated both innocence and unease.
God almighty, she's got you guys coming or going.
In one therapy scene, Martini peers nervously at a deck of cards, his wide eyes flicking to Jack Nicholson's McMurphy for reassurance. The performance was subtle, but unforgettable. He gave the institution humanity, not caricature.
Ah, come on, you're not gonna say that now. You're not gonna say that now. You're gonna pull that henhouse shit now. When the vote, the chief just voted, it was 10-9. Now I want that television set turned on right now!
For a young Schwarzenegger watching, it was proof that presence didn't come from physical size. An actor could be small in stature, yet still fill the screen with truth. Years later, when Arnold and DeVito teamed up for Twins, 1988, that truth paid off. On paper, the idea was absurd. 2 brothers, one a genetically engineered giant, the other a fast-talking hustler. But the movie worked not because of the gimmick, but because DeVito anchored it with warmth and comic brilliance. Arnold has often admitted that comedy was a risk for him, but DeVito gave him confidence.
Obviously. The moment I sat down, I thought I was looking into a mirror.
I'm developing another movie with Danny, he told The Hollywood Reporter. He's so much fun to work with and so talented. The admiration wasn't about height or image, it was about trust. That trust deepened through Junior, 1994, where Schwarzenegger took an even bigger gamble by playing a pregnant scientist.
But you're also pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
Can't keep anything down. It's morning sickness. It'll pass. Eat crackers.
Again, DeVito's timing and natural ease gave Arnold the freedom to step into unfamiliar territory. Their banter never felt forced because their friendship was real. DeVito didn't just deliver jokes, he pulled something looser, lighter out of Arnold, reminding him that vulnerability could be just as powerful as toughness. Off-screen, the 2 men shared a camaraderie that lasted long after the credits rolled. DeVito's sharp instincts as a producer impressed Arnold, and their conversations went beyond acting into family, politics, and the strange realities of Hollywood. Schwarzenegger saw in DeVito not only a co-star, but a partner who understood the business from every angle. Perhaps what Arnold values most is DeVito's ability to humanize. Martini and Cuckoo's Nest was heartbreaking, not funny. Julius in Twins was endearing, not ridiculous. DeVito has a gift for grounding even the wildest premise, making audiences laugh while still caring deeply for his characters. For Schwarzenegger, that's the mark of a great actor. It raises a question worth asking. How is it that some performers can take comedy, often dismissed as light entertainment, and use it to reveal something deeply human? Number 5. Jamie Lee Curtis. Arnold Schwarzenegger's career has been filled with memorable co-stars. But when he talks about the actors who impressed him most, Jamie Lee Curtis holds a special place. To Arnold, Curtis isn't just a colleague. She's proof that true talent comes from versatility, fearlessness, and the ability to reinvent oneself again and again. Their most famous collaboration came in True Lies, 1994, a James Cameron action spectacle that combined espionage, comedy, and romance in a way that seemed almost impossible to balance. Arnold played Harry Tasker, a secret agent living a double life, while Curtis played his wife Helen, an ordinary woman suddenly thrust into a world of danger and deception. It was a demanding role, one that required her to be funny, vulnerable, and at times a full-fledged action star. One of the film's most unforgettable moments takes place high above the Florida Keys. Dangling from a helicopter, Helen clutches desperately to Harry's outstretched hand as terrorists close in.
I can't hear you! What? Oh God! The bridge is out! The bridge is out, Harry!
The fear etched on her face isn't just acting, it feels real. And when she finally finds the resolve to hold on, the audience believes in her transformation from sheltered housewife to unlikely hero. Arnold has often said that Curtis elevated the movie beyond its premise, because she gave Helen dignity, strength, and humor all at once. At Curtis's hand and footprint ceremony in Hollywood, Arnold praised her in front of the crowd as the most extraordinary actress, adding that she could kick some serious ass. Coming from a man who built his career on action, that compliment carried weight. He admired her not only for her physical commitment to stunts, but also for her ability to turn from comedy to drama without missing a beat. What impressed him most was her range. Curtis had already been crowned a Scream Queen in Halloween, 1978, terrified audiences in The Fog, 1980, and showed sharp comedic chops in A Fish Called Wanda, 1988. By the time she worked with Arnold, she had proven she could do it all. For Schwarzenegger, that kind of versatility was gold. It reminded him that longevity in Hollywood comes not from repeating one formula, but from embracing risk. Their chemistry on set was undeniable, fueled by mutual respect. Arnold has said that Curtis made him better by forcing him to stay sharp. If he faltered, she was there with a look or a line delivery that raised the stakes. Off camera too, they built a friendship grounded in laughter and admiration. Looking back, Arnold's admiration for Curtis reflects what he values most in actors: courage. Not just the courage to do stunts or carry a gun on screen, but the courage to be funny, to look foolish, to expose raw emotion in front of millions. That, for him, is the real mark of greatness. And it makes you wonder, what is it that gives certain actors the bravery to balance humor and vulnerability in the same role, while others shy away from the risk? Number 4. Steve Reeves. Long before Arnold Schwarzenegger was a household name, before the bodybuilding titles and blockbuster films, there was Steve Reeves. For a teenage Arnold growing up in post-war Austria, Reeves wasn't just a movie star. He was living proof that a bodybuilder could cross into Hollywood and become a hero on the big screen. Reeves embodied the impossible dream that Arnold carried with him, the bridge between the gym and the silver screen. Reeves' most famous role was as Hercules in the 1958 epic Hercules. One sequence stands out in Arnold's memory. Hercules, straining with every muscle, holds up a collapsing temple to save his companions. Sweat glistens on his face, dust rains down, and yet he remains steady, a wall of strength against ruin. For audiences, it was thrilling. For a teenage Schwarzenegger, it was transformative. Here was a man whose physique, earned through discipline and weightlifting, was not mocked but celebrated. Reeves wasn't a sidekick or a curiosity, he was the hero. Arnold would later reflect, "As a teenager, I grew up with Steve Reeves. His remarkable accomplishments allowed me a sense of what was possible. Steve Reeves has been part of everything I've ever been fortunate enough to achieve. Those words show just how foundational Reeves was to his journey. Before Arnold had won Mr. Olympia or acted in his first film, he already had a roadmap, and it was drawn by Steve Reeves. But Reeves' influence wasn't only physical. His screen presence carried a sense of nobility and charisma. He didn't just flex, he performed. He made mythic stories feel grounded, embodying characters who were larger than life but still human. Arnold recognized that Reeves had figured out a secret. Muscles alone weren't enough. To hold an audience, you had to pair physical power with emotional depth. This lesson shaped Arnold's own approach when he began acting. Critics might have doubted that a bodybuilder could act, but Arnold knew better because he had seen Reeves do it decades earlier. Every time Arnold picked up a script, he thought of Reeves's example. How to make a hero believable. How to mix spectacle with sincerity. It's easy to overlook how radical Reeves was in his time. Hollywood in the 1950s still clung to conventional leading men. Reeves broke that mold, carving out a space where strength was not just physical, but cinematic. Without Reeves, the path for someone like Schwarzenegger might never have existed. Arnold's reverence for Reeves wasn't just nostalgia, it was gratitude. Reeves gave him a dream to chase and the belief that it was achievable. Watching Hercules hold up that temple, Arnold didn't just see a hero, he saw his future. And it raises a question. When we see someone occupying the exact space we dream of entering, does it inspire us to push harder, or does it intimidate us with the enormity of what lies ahead? Number 3, Reg Park. If Steve Reeves lit the spark for Arnold Schwarzenegger, then Reg Park poured fuel on the fire. To Arnold, Park wasn't just a distant screen hero. He became a tangible role model, someone whose life and career provided a blueprint Arnold could actually follow. Reeves may have shown that a bodybuilder could become Hercules, but Park proved that such a path could be pursued with discipline, consistency, and ambition. Reg Park was already a legend when Arnold first learned of him. A 3-time Mr. Universe winner and a man of immense strength, Park also found success in films like Hercules and the Captive Women, 1961. In that film, there's a striking sequence where Hercules battles a dragon in a cavern by the sea. Park, wielding a spear lit by torchlight, lunges at the roaring beast to save his son. It's campy by modern standards, but to a young Arnold in Austria, the image was electrifying. Park wasn't just acting, he was embodying the myth of strength and courage. Arnold would later admit in a Hall of Fame speech that Park was more than just an idol. He said, "Reg Park inspired me to pursue bodybuilding and powerlifting." That influence wasn't passive, it was transformative. Arnold devoured bodybuilding magazines featuring Park, studied his training methods, and imagined himself one day stepping into his hero's shoes.
I think what perhaps happened to me about 15, 20 years ago is happening to you right now.
I know, it's this incredible thing.
The parallel is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like a repetition,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I looked up to you so much right from the beginning.
What made Park so important wasn't just his victories on stage or his roles on screen. It was his dual identity. He was both a champion athlete and a cinematic Hercules. To a boy in Austria who felt like an outsider with his obsession for lifting weights, Park was validation. Here was someone showing that bodybuilding wasn't just a hobby. It could be a career, a platform, a life. Years later, Arnold met Park in person, and their relationship deepened. Park became a mentor figure, offering advice and encouragement that went far beyond the gym. Arnold often recalled how Park's presence was steady, almost paternal. He wasn't just a showman, he was a man who lived by discipline and passed that philosophy onto the next generation. When Arnold began his own climb, winning Mr. Olympia, taking his first acting roles, Park's shadow was always there. Not as a burden, but as a guide. Park had shown the way, and Arnold simply walked the path with his own determination. Without Park's example, Schwarzenegger has said, "The dream of becoming both a bodybuilding icon and a Hollywood star might never have seemed realistic." In reflecting on Park, Arnold often blends admiration with gratitude. The blueprint he followed wasn't accidental, it was built by watching someone else do it first. And perhaps that's the deepest form of inspiration. Not just admiring from afar, but seeing in someone else the life you might one day live yourself. It's worth asking, when an idol stands in the exact space you want to occupy, does it fuel your courage to follow, or does it intimidate you with how high the bar has already been set? Number 2, John Wayne. For a boy growing up in Austria, the very idea of America seemed distant, almost mythical. Arnold Schwarzenegger has often said that his early images of the United States came not from books or newspapers, but from the movies, and no actor embodied that vision more than John Wayne. To Arnold, Wayne was the living symbol of American masculinity, strong, stoic, unyielding. His characters weren't just men, they were institutions larger than life, striding across landscapes that seemed endless. One of the performances that struck Arnold most was Wayne's turn in The Searchers, 1956. In its haunting final scene, Wayne's Ethan Edwards stands in a doorway, his silhouette framed against the blazing frontier.
Don't go in there, boy.
He has rescued his niece and restored some sense of justice, but he remains an outsider. As the family reunites inside the warm house, he turns away, walking alone into the desert.
I'd be obliged if you'd come to the point, ma'am.
It's just that I know that Martha'd want you to take care of her boys as well as her girls.
For Arnold, that image captured both strength and solitude, qualities he admired and would later channel in his own screen personas. Arnold once revealed in a Reddit AMA, "I love John Wayne and Clint Eastwood." He added that names like John Wayne sounded American and powerful, and that admiration even influenced his decision to keep his own surname rather than adopt a simpler stage name. To him, there was dignity in staying true to who you were, just as Wayne carried himself with an unmistakable authenticity. What Arnold valued most in Wayne was the consistency of his characters. Whether playing a cowboy, a soldier, or a lawman, Wayne projected an unwavering moral code. His heroes were often flawed, but never cowardly. They stood tall, faced hardship directly, and embodied a brand of justice that was simple, yet magnetic. For Schwarzenegger, who would one day build his own reputation as an action hero, Wayne provided the archetype. When audiences saw Arnold charging into battle or standing against impossible odds, the echo of Wayne's rugged resolve wasn't far behind. Beyond the screen, Wayne's persona reinforced Arnold's belief in the American dream.
Well, it wasn't a case of what it interested me. It was a case of that which I fit in best. So I fit the background of...
Wayne came to represent a culture of resilience, where even in defeat there was dignity. Arnold, still a teenager in Austria, absorbed that message. It wasn't just about lifting weights or winning competitions. It was about living with a sense of purpose and independence. Of course, Wayne's image also carried controversy. His brand of masculinity was sometimes critiqued as old-fashioned, even limiting. But for Arnold, what mattered was the lesson of self-belief. If Wayne could define a generation of heroes simply by being resolute, then Arnold could carve his own place by being equally unapologetic about who he was. Looking back, it's no surprise Wayne makes Arnold's list of idols. Wayne wasn't just an actor, he was a symbol of identity, strength, and endurance. And it prompts the question, how much of what we admire in our heroes is about their performances? And how much is about the way they teach us to carry ourselves when the cameras aren't rolling? Number 1, Clint Eastwood. At the very top of Arnold Schwarzenegger's list stands Clint Eastwood. For Arnold, Eastwood isn't just another actor he admired from afar. He is the ultimate model of what it means to endure in Hollywood, a man who has redefined himself again and again across 6 decades. From the gunslinger of the spaghetti westerns, to the weathered anti-hero of Unforgiven, to the director of critically acclaimed dramas, Eastwood embodies everything Arnold respects: toughness, discipline, and reinvention. Arnold has never hidden how much Eastwood shaped him. In one fan, Kwanda, when asked who he modeled his career after, he answered immediately, "Clint Eastwood, no question." That admiration has spanned his entire life, stretching back to before he even set foot in America. Eastwood's characters carried the same stoic presence that John Wayne had projected, but there was something sharper, more complex about them. They weren't just strong, they were conflicted, sometimes broken, but always commanding the audience's attention. Take Unforgiven, 1992. Eastwood plays William Money, a retired gunslinger pulled back into violence.
You don't look no meaner than hell, cold-blooded damn killer.
I ain't like that anymore, kid.
In the film's climax, Money storms into a rain-soaked tavern, facing down an entire room after the murder of his friend. His voice is low, controlled, and chilling, a man who has seen too much but will not back down.
We all have it coming, kid.
Arnold has praised the way Eastwood layered that role, both weary and terrifying, both fragile and unbreakable. It's a lesson in restraint, proving that silence and stillness can sometimes speak louder than action. Arnold's admiration goes beyond the characters. For Eastwood's 93rd birthday, he posted, "Happy birthday, Clint! You've inspired me, you've mentored me, and you're a wonderful friend. At 93, you prove that heroes don't retire. They reload. You're a legend." Their relationship evolved from idol and admirer into genuine friendship, with Arnold openly calling him a mentor. In interviews, he has often said Eastwood inspired him not just as an actor, but as a producer, director, and even a musician. Eastwood showed that one career path didn't have to be the limit. You could reinvent yourself endlessly. That kind of longevity is what Arnold finds most impressive. Hollywood is filled with stars who burn brightly and fade quickly. Eastwood, by contrast, never stopped moving forward. He transitioned from iconic action star to respected director, creating films that explored morality, politics, and human frailty. To Arnold, that's the blueprint. Build a foundation, but never get stuck in it. It's easy to see why Eastwood tops the list. He represents everything Arnold has aspired to be. An actor with gravitas, a filmmaker with vision, and a man whose presence never waned with age. For Schwarzenegger, Eastwood isn't just an idol of youth. He is a reminder, even now, of what greatness looks like sustained over a lifetime. And it leaves us with a question worth considering. What truly keeps a legend relevant for 6 decades? Raw talent, the courage to reinvent, or the respect of those they inspire along the way? Arnold Schwarzenegger closes the scrapbook gently, his hand resting on the final page like someone sealing a chapter of memory. The study around him is quiet, filled with the echoes of the heroes who shaped his journey, from the comic brilliance of Danny DeVito to the fearless versatility of Jamie Lee Curtis, from the mythic physiques of Steve Reeves and Reg Park to the rugged charisma of John Wayne, and finally, to the enduring mastery of Clint Eastwood. Each actor on his list represents something different. Reeves and Park gave him permission to dream that a boy in Austria could lift weights, win titles, and still step into mythic roles on screen. DeVito reminded him that comedy and humanity matter as much as strength, that audiences connect to sincerity more than size. Curtis proved that courage isn't only in stunts, but in emotional honesty. Wayne embodied the frontier spirit of America, inspiring Arnold to keep his name, his identity, and his authenticity. And Eastwood showed that greatness is about more than stardom. It's about evolution, about creating a legacy that adapts without ever surrendering its integrity. Arnold often says he owes his career not just to his own determination, but to the examples of those who came before him. These 6 actors in different ways offered him a map: how to carry yourself, how to face rejection, how to make audiences believe in you. They were idols, yes, but also mentors. Some from a distance, some close enough to call friends. As he leans back, Arnold reflects, "Without their examples, I might never have become anything more than a kid with dreams." And it leaves us wondering, what would any of us be without the heroes who showed us what was possible?